Welcome to Tarot Land. I crack myself up sometime here. All right, today what I wanted to do, I thought I'd talk about the card spread. And especially the Celtic Cross is really what I want to go into, is the Celtic Cross. What I wanted to do is break it down to each position and talk in depth about each position. So that's the plan. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I have some people, and I've always had that, with students who ask me more in-depth questions about certain positions. And a common one is position 8, the timing. So I thought I'd do some more detail about how I go about reading with these positions and coming across ideas. One thing I wanted to mention before we even look into that is what we're doing with a card reading. I think that's important to know, what I feel anyway. You know, and a card reading, the art of reading tarot cards is more than just an application of some technique. It's in the hands of a master. These cards are in constant motion. They're alive with ideas. They really are alive with ideas. So to say one card, this card always means this, or this card always means that, would be the wrong way to look at it. Depends on the question, what you're looking into, the position it's in, and how you're feeling about that card with that client. So it's not a card is not a reference of some information that could be categorized in some way. A card reading gives you ideas, and these cards are suggestions to the position they're laid into. So it's like, well, how about this idea for that position, or this idea for that position? They're just suggestions, and if those suggestions work and you didn't see them before the reading, you got them because of the deck of tarot cards. And if they work, people will say, yeah, the cards showed this to me. But really what it was is the cards just sparked ideas for you. And as a reader, you were able to point these ideas out to your client and come up with some valuable information for them. And I think that that's important to keep in mind. Another thing I'd like to say, that as a reader, I've heard people use the term cold readings. And if you start reading professionally, your clients are going to be people who have a specific issue. They want information on, and you have a certain amount of time with that person, and so you want to get as much information as you can to be able to help them with what it is you're looking into. So creating dialogue with your client is good, and I think that helps your reading a lot. And a lot of students just starting out, to me, I always feel like they're afraid that they don't think they're supposed to ask questions. I ask a lot of questions in my readings. But if somebody's paying you money, they'll be more than happy to answer your questions, because they're looking for help, they're looking for ideas. And that's why they're there. Now if you're doing a house party or something like that, that's a little different. Or carnivals, you know, $20, 10 minutes, people throw down $20 and say, oh yeah, tell me about me. You know, that's a little different. You have clients seeking you out, paying you substantial money to sit across from you. They have an issue, and they want to find some answers for it. That to me is the difference of a serious reading and more just for fun and entertainment type of reading. But creating dialogue with your client is something you'll start to learn to be able to do. Ask them questions, you know, If you're asking about my relationship, you might ask, well, how long have you been involved in this relationship? How often you see each other now? Is he married or single? Is he available, or you just, or what's going on? Do you work with him, or what's going on? And you could ask those kind of questions. And people would be very happy to tell you about it. If they're going to throw $50 or $100 in front of you and want to know about some information about their situation, they have a specific situation and they're looking for answers for it, so they'll be happy to tell you all about it. And then you could help them. So creating dialogue with your clients, getting information helps you interpret these positions in the cards and seeing the cards in certain ways, because as they're telling you things, you'll start to see the cards meaning something that because of what they're telling you. And so it helps with the reading a lot as far as what the cards can mean. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Also, don't be afraid to say things. Look, if something comes into your mind and it doesn't seem to make any sense during the reading, don't be afraid to mention it. Say, well, how about, is this going on with you? Or is this going on? Don't be afraid to say something like that, no matter how stupid it sounds. Because if you don't, as time goes on, you'll start to see lots of times with a reading, they'll say something to you about what you were thinking about. And you think, well, I should have said something before. That'll happen to you. So, things pop in your head, say them. Ask them, question them on this or that before they bring it up to you. Intuition is like fishing to me. I can't control what kind of intuition I get from somebody or the situation I'm in. I can make the setting, just like fishing. You could set it all up, you could use the right bait, you could be in the right location. You could do certain things to make it all to your advantage, to set things up in your favor, and then you have to wait and see if anything starts biting. Same with intuition. Some days the intuition is biting, sometimes it's not. And but I will say one thing, the more you read, you're using that side of your mind. And just like a muscle, the more you use it, the better you get at it, the stronger it gets, and the more you develop it. So just reading tarot cards and using that side of the mind will start developing your intuition more than it is right now. Human body's amazing. The more you use it, the better it gets. So I'd like to mention those things before we started. A reading is just ideas. It's suggestions to look into, possible ideas. What about this? What about this? And if those ideas seem to be winners, and that client walks away and does what those ideas were, then you could look at it and say that the cards really did show me something here. And but that's what they are. They give you ideas. So the Celtic Cross, the way I do it, a lot of YouTubes about it out there, and that's what we're going to be going over here. Okay, get started. Okay, I'd like to start out by saying that this is the way I do a Celtic Cross. This is the way it looks on my table. It really doesn't make any difference if you have a source that's showing a little bit different than this. That's fine. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever works for you. And that includes the numbering system. If you have a numbering, the order of the cards are laid down, it really is not that important. Whatever works for you. This is the way I lay them down. But another thing that's really important, I feel it is, and this is what I teach, is that these positions, the meanings of these positions, can be changed to whatever you like them to be. So a traditional Celtic cross has, the meanings are like, this covers him, this is behind him, this is before him, hopes and fears and things like this. To me, those kind of meanings didn't really help me find answers. I wanted something more direct. And I feel, well, once I realized I could change these position meanings to something more useful, it helped my readings tremendously. So I look into 4 aspects of a question. I look into what, why, how, and when. And this allows me to look in any question at all and have some type of meaningful advice for answers for the question. And that's what I look into with my Celtic cross. So what, why, how, and when is what these 10 positions are going to show me as I'm addressing this question we're looking into, whatever that happens to be. So realizing that I could change the meanings of these positions to something more useful was a big help. And because of that, this is the only card spread I really use professionally. So I don't have to use one card spread here or go to a different card spread for a different question. No, this is the only card spread I use, and it works out really well. And getting to know one spread very well, I think, is better for you anyway. So this is all you're ever going to need. And you'll have good results with it. So I look into, like I said, what, why, how, and when, and we're going to go over each one of these positions and how they pertain to those aspects of your question. And that's where we're going. So the first position, number 1 and 2. Numbers 1 and 2 position, I see as the question itself. That's why there's 2 cards here. The question is the most important part of the whole reading. So being able to look at the question and analyze the question, rephrase the question maybe, or modify it, change it in some ways, something that's more direct. And I know professional readers that some of them will actually have a client write the question down on paper for this reason. It makes the client really look deep into their question when you do that. I don't do that, but I do know readers that do that. They insist that the client writes the question down on paper before they even come to them. This makes the client have a deeper meaning of their question, deeper understanding of their question. So really being able to look at the question and see if it could be shifted in some way or fine-tuned to something more with more clarity is what these 2 cards help us do. And the cards that are laid into those positions give us ideas on how the question is being looked at, what the question really is, getting right down to the question. And the question might be the question might be a good question. It might be one that's really can be fine-tuned into something else. These cards give us ideas on the potential of the question and really what it's about. So it helps us look at the question, those 2 cards. And they work together. They complement each other. They could be a negative and a positive card, showing good and bad about the question. They could be a couple good cards. It doesn't make any difference what they are. They're working together to show us an idea of how the cards are seeing this question and what kind of ideas they can give you as far as the clarity of the question. This pertains to what? What is the question? As far as what, why, how, and when. I think of this as a what. Next we go into position 3, which I see as why. And position 3 is actions the client is taking right now to achieve what they're trying to accomplish. They might be taking actions for short-term goals. They might be taking actions for long-term goals. But the efforts they're making right now and the things they're doing to get there, here's where we have the opportunity to have a card laid there and give us ideas on what they should be doing, and what they're doing now might be two different things. Maybe the efforts they're making right now are not getting them anywhere. This allows us to see ideas for something more useful as far as the efforts they're making, something that will help them in a more effective way than the efforts they're making right now. It allows us to question the client's actions they're taking right now, and are these the right actions to be taken to try to get what they're trying to accomplish. So this card gives us ideas for that, whether it's a confirmation of things that the client's doing that is good, or it's new ideas and what they could be doing that would be better for them. It's just looking at that aspect of your question. Current actions the clients are taking right now. And if we look into position 4, it's another why. Position 4 is the short-term goals they're trying to achieve right now. So lots of times they're taking actions in number 3 to achieve something in number 4. Immediate results. The initial objectives that they're trying to accomplish for the long-term goal. That's what position 4 is. Immediate results that they're looking for. And again, this allows us to question, are these short-term goals really going to help us with our long-term goals, or our big question, the main purpose of what we're doing? Are these short-term goals really going to help us get there? Are the actions we're taking in number 3 useful? Are the things we're trying to accomplish in number 4 really going to get us to the end of where we want to be? So we can question that with the number 4 position. Next we have number 5. Number 5 position is going into how are we going to get there? How are we going to attain this objective? And number 5 is an asset the client needs to realize they have, or if they already know they have this asset, how they can use it. What assets do they have that will help them with their question? Or what assets they need to attain to help them achieve their goal? That's what the number 5 position is. Assets the client has or needs to attain. Number 6 position is an opportunity. An opportunity coming in the near future. Lots of times these assets we have in number 5 will be helpful when this opportunity arises in number 6. This is also a how objective aspect, part of the question. Number 6, how are we going to get there? So we have to keep an eye out for certain opportunities that they're going to be there. Lots of times the client will already know what this opportunity might be. It might be something that's planned, an event that they're going to, or a person they're going to be talking with. And sometimes they don't know. But these opportunities are there. And we have to keep an idea, we have to give the client the ability to try to know what to look for. Keep their eyes open for this opportunity that's coming in the near future. This is usually a 3-month period, from now to 3 months from now, any time in between there. But that depends a lot on the question itself. So the opportunity of number 6. How are we going to get this accomplished? Next, going into number 7, position 7 is another what situation. And this works with numbers 1 and 2, position 7. 1 and 2 being the question itself. Well, position 7 is how the client views their own question. This allows us to take a look at the client's perspective of what they're looking into. They might be seeing things very clearly. If numbers 7 and 1 and 2 all seem to work very well together, we can question and look into, confirm that the client is seeing things pretty clearly for what it really is. If 7 doesn't agree well with numbers 1 and 2, the client might be seeing their own question in a misguided way. They might be seeing something in a negative way that really is a very good thing, or they might be seeing something that they think is a very good thing, but really is not a very good thing for them. And they need to watch for that. So position 7 allows us to see the client's own viewpoint of their own question and how they're seeing what this really is. Number 8 position is the timing. And here's where I get a lot of people who question this with me. Students will ask me, they say, well, I don't get the timing here. Timing I have, or number 8 position is when. When do we act? And really all I do with number 8 is help the client try to figure out the most opportune time to take action. Do we act now before opportunities are lost, or do we wait for a more opportune time in the future when things will be more in favor for our success? The timing, when to act. Lots of times thinking this out will really help benefit for success. So this doesn't really show a date. Well, it can, but it basically, the meaning here is, do we act now or do we wait? So if there's a stable card in here, a 4, let's say, or a queen, maybe, which shows patience. 4s are stability. Those would be cards showing, move slowly here. Don't act now. Wait for a more opportune time. That opportune time might be the opportunity in number 6. But this shows us, number 8 shows us, is it time for action or is it time for inaction? What's better for you to do with this situation? So a card here will give us some ideas as far as ways we can look at this. Number 9 is another why. So 3, 4, and 9 are whys. And number 9 is the purpose of this whole thing. So with 3 and 4, we were looking more into actions I'm taking right now with number 3 to achieve a short-term immediate goal with number 4. But number 9 is the big picture, the purpose of this whole thing. What is it? Why do I really want this in my life? What do I feel it's going to get me? Why do I feel it's going to make me happy? What is it I'm ultimately looking for? This position allows us to look into that aspect of their question. The purpose, the big picture. Number 10 is another how. So 5, 6, and 10 are hows. How are we going to achieve this? So in number 10, if I have an asset in number 5, something I have going for me that I could really focus on that will help me with this goal, and I watch for my opportunity coming in number 6, I have a number 10 here showing me pretty much an idea as this is all coming together, and I take these actions of opportunity, and I use this asset, what can I expect an outcome to be? As far as not so much an outcome, but what will the scenario look like? What will I be seeing? Something that just goes smoothly, no problems, or is there going to be challenges? If there was a Tower card here in 10, I might look at this as, even though I have the opportunity, be ready for resistance. Be ready for things that I'm not really expecting to happen, but they might happen. I got to be prepared. I better know what I'm doing. If it's a good card here, it might look like, well, it looks like you're not going to have much problem as long as you spot this opportunity in number 6 and you focus on using your assets in number 5, things should work out pretty well for you with number 10. So 10 is a anticipation of what to expect is when you start to take action and you start to move forward with this opportunity from 6. How will it all dish out? What will you be up against here? Good or bad? It's not an outcome card. It's not an outcome position as much as it is to what to expect. I don't see failure as an option that we're looking into, that we're interested in. So if it's a bad card, I look at it as something that's a challenge that you're going to have to overcome or be ready for, to take on. And if it's a good card, anticipate things working out as planned, and it should go pretty smooth. So this is how I do the cross, and these are the position meanings. Now, if you look at this, you'll see, again, we're talking about what, why, how, and when. That's 4 aspects of your question. But there's 10 positions. And so it ends up being three card spreads with 1 position left on its own for the timing or when to act. But numbers 1, 2, and 7 are a look at what is the question and how are you looking at it. How are you seeing the question? What? So these 3 cards work well together. Next we have why. 3, 4, and 9. Currently going through number 3 to actions you're taking, actions you should be taking maybe, to achieve a short-term goal, number 4, but the ultimate purpose is number 9. What's the big picture here? These are why positions. And then we have how. How are we going to achieve this objective? That's 5, 6, and 10. 5, the asset you have, things you have going for you, or things that you need to attain that will be assets to you to move forward here. Number 6 is the opportunity. And number 10 is what we can anticipate as we move forward on this goal, on this objective. And then lastly, we have 8, or when. When to act. Number 8, by itself. Do we act now before opportunities are lost? Or do we wait for a time that we think will be more in our favor, where everything falls right into place, like they say, perfect timing. Right time, right place. That's what we're looking for here. Timing can be important. These aspects, looking at what, why, how, and when, using the Celtic Cross with these position meanings, you'll be able to answer any question with some good value for the client. And it works out very well. These positions can also be interactive with each other in other ways, too. However you feel that they might look. You could look at other things with the card spread if you wanted to. That would be up to you. But this is how I use the cross. And it works out very well. Dialogue with the client helps a lot to find these things out. And keep in mind that a card reading is suggestions. They're ideas to solutions. They're ideas for solutions. And if they work, yep, you'll be looking at it and saying, those cards, they helped me out here. You know, they really showed me something. And but really it was you. Cards were just a tool. Wonderful tool. I've been using them a long time. And they'll work real good for you. So, but you're the one making those decisions. You're the one seeing those ideas in these cards. And if I can do it, you can do it. You can do it just as good as I do. That I believe. I hope you like this. Keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon.